welcome back to my channel. This is Anissa from Real Fly Girls Read, and we're doing something totally different on my channel today. I did not do a September TBR. I didn't do an August wrap-up. I didn't even do a July wrap-up. I'm starting to realize that format doesn't quite work for me. Nor does just talking about romance books, because I have a billion interests, and I'm never going to be able to roll out content that way, or be satisfied with the content I do roll out if I strictly do talk about reading romance books, no matter how much I enjoy my romance books. Do I have to lower my camera a little bit? No. My bad. Oh. But yeah, so lo and behold, I got inspired when I fell on personal curriculum TikTok. I fell victim to the personal curriculums. It kind of all started with this creator. She goes by Parmesan Princess on TikTok, but her name is Elizabeth Jean. She also has a YouTube channel under Elizabeth Jean. I'll link her down below, where she would come on and monthly post about her monthly curriculums, were just basically books and media and just a collection of things on topics she wanted to learn, whether it be baking or mocktails because she doesn't drink anymore, or history like World War II or something like that. Like, she would just make monthly courses for herself, and sometimes they would roll over to the next month and she'll start something new, and that took off. And now everybody's either doing like a monthly like curriculum or even a quarterly one. Like, most people have started like fall curriculums, like they're going back to school. And as someone who didn't like school but loves to read, loves the excuse to buy a notebook and some pens and whatnot, I hopped on that immediately, and I decided that I was going to teach myself something for fall. Not necessarily teach myself something, but read books and gather information on topics I'm interested in for the fall quarter. So yeah, these are my physical reads, and I also, good lord, let me go get my freaking books e-reader. You'd think I'd be more prepared for this. But yeah, and also, of course, ebooks on my Books Color Go. And yeah, let's go over the courses I have created for myself. First and foremost, my absolute favorite course is Wisdom of Black Creatives. And it's just that, taking books or reading articles and watching documentaries from the black girls and kids who inspire me. And that starts with someone who's been inspiring me my entire life. Like, this book has been on my TBR before I even knew a TBR was in there. And that is Fabulosity by Kimberly Simmons. What it is and how to get it. And fabulous she is. And scrappy and smart and all of the things that I feel like people don't usually attribute to a model. But Kimura's so much more than a model. She became an entrepreneur. She used every opportunity that was allotted to her, be it being a model at 13, like on a Romance in Paris, modeling for Chanel, which is now would be very illegal the way they had her working that young. But and then marrying a much older, no shade, music executive in Russell Simmons, and seeing what he had going on, other than the music, other than the hip-hop, he also had Fat Farm. That was a clothing brand from early 2000s. I don't know how old some of you are, or if y'all remember that. Good lord, my hair is popping in the eye. I have a haircut scheduled. These bangs are too long. But anyway, yeah, him being behind Fat Farm, and when she married him and saw what he had going on, she, instead of becoming a housewife, decided that she wanted to be a part of it too. She wanted to be in charge. She wanted to make some money. And that is how we got Baby Fat. Not about y'all, but my mama having Baby Fat down up to like the age of 10. Like, I had the outfits. Did I have a coat? I might have. Who even knows anymore? My aunt gave me these. Where I found them. My aunt gave me these back in middle school. And I've never worn them, but I refuse to get rid of them. Like, is this not peak 2000s flat girl in the club? Kimura is behind these. I can never get rid of these. yeah, she has always inspired me. She's always been everything they've told you not to be. She's been loud. She's been ghetto fabulous. She's been out here repping for Black women, for Asian women, because she's both. Just being themselves and being fabulous. And I want to learn from her. So that is book number 1. And for the second book, and for this month at least, these are just books for just this month. I am continuing throughout the fall. I'll pick other books in October, other books in November. But the second book is a book also I've started already because we're almost halfway through the month. But is Laura Roach's book. And what else is there to say about Laura Roach? If you don't know who Laura Roach is, I don't know where you've been. He has styled many, many, many fabulous women. But, of course, even through retirement, he has styled Miss Zendaya, and he is the genius behind all of the looks that we have loved throughout the years. And now he is on Project Runway, helping other creatives, very boldly, very candidly. His critiques might hurt a little bit, but you need to be a little bit open. I'm saying that like, it's my work he's critiquing. But still, he is not afraid to talk up for himself and for other people. And he's had a very non-traditional introduction into styling. This is not something he went to school for. He didn't intern for this. It's kind of something he decided he was kind of already doing, working at the vintage shop that he owned. And he took off with it. And, of course, he has wisdom that I would like to partake in. So, yeah. Already reading it. It's a short read. 165 pages, I think, at least on KU. It's on KU, it'll be at least on the Kindle app, the ebook version. But yes, have you noticed that everyone that inspires me is either like an earth sign or a Cancer? Because that trend is going to continue as I continue to pick books for the things I want to learn. And also, I'll be watching every Beyonce documentary that she has released, her movies that she's released around her music and her creative process, including I'll be rewatching Beachella, of course. And moving on to the second course is the Fly formula, and that will be me recreating my wardrobe. That is what I want to learn from the books that I pick. I have recently put on some weight. Enough that my clothes no longer fit. Like, it's, on a good day, it's like 8 pounds I've put on. And I panicked. I didn't have to get rid of all my clothes. Like, it wasn't like I blew up or anything. But I definitely had to get rid of quite a few pairs of jeans. Like 8 pairs of jeans. Look at me complaining. Because I still have a whole bunch of other jeans. But, and I don't quite know, like, fall top-wise, what I'm going to have to get rid of. I know I have to get rid of quite a few summer things, but because I haven't gone through fall yet, it's still kind of warm up here in, like, New Jersey. Like, I am definitely restyling myself. And unlike in the rest of my 20s, I'm 29, I'm about to wrap up, where I would go all willy-nilly and go spend all my money on things. My tastes have changed, the way I shop has changed. I definitely am into nicer things, and have been for, like, at least, like, the past 2 years or so. I've been picky about what I purchase. I don't just want to consume and constantly throw clothes away. So, I have not bought myself really anything new. Nothing new yet. I do want to see what I'm working with, go back through what I have, and build upon that. And I do that in a very formulaic way. Like I said, I'm a Capricorn. I need structure and systems, or else I am going to fall apart. And starting with that, I'm going all the way back to the basics, teaching myself about clothes and textiles. This is Textopedia by Fashionary. They have several fashion guides, but this one is that much about fabrics. about fabrics, telling you where they came from, and the weaves that they can kind of be made into and how to care for them. You got one on cotton, you got on wool. It teaches you about natural fibers, synthetic fibers like, polyester, and semi-synthetics like rayon slash like viscose and all that stuff. But yeah, even regenerative fibers, which I think honestly would be semi-synthetics. See, I need to reread this. I've had this for a while, and I read it when I got it, but I do need to rebrush up. I think it's important, the way we consume clothes, it's important to know what we're consuming and to stop consuming so much. So you've got to reteach yourself. You got to go back to the basics on how to care, on how to pick, and all of that. So it's like a mini textbook. That's where I am starting. And one book, which I do not have yet, but it will be here this week, is, what's the title? It is by Ellie Jean, and I don't know if y'all follow her. I follow her on all her social medias. She has YouTube. I'll link her YouTube as well below. She has TikTok and Instagram, and even a Pinterest, which I suggest you follow that too. But I used to follow her for her Kibbe content, and if you don't know what that is a system created by David Kibbe on kind of typing your body and using that type to pick clothes. And his system was cool and all, but it started to feel like more or less objective and more his opinions after a while. And then he always wasn't even consistent about the way he would type women, because there would be celebrities that wouldn't normally fit in his type that he would like force them into his like typing system. And I didn't really like that. But Ellie Jean has a body typing system as well as like a style, like an aesthetic typing system, which I struggle with. But her body typing system I have adored, because it is more closely related to how I dress myself before I even found Kibbe. And basically she helps you narrow down like your lines based on, like I said, your body, based on your height, based on your shoulder width, based on like versus like whether you're curvy or like straight or you fall somewhere in the middle. And it's very, very, very helpful because not everybody cares about what's flattering on them, but I do. And I feel like a lot of people who have like bigger chest or bigger hips, where clothes don't just hang on us, like we're not straight, we're not hangers, that it matters to a lot of us. I'm small, but I am busty and I am hippie, and it matters what I put on my body. I look different. I look different according to what I put on my body, and I like to look my best. And I like a good system, so I will be. And she's very much into, speaking of systems, she's very much into like seasonal colors and that too. I should take a course by seasonal colors. In fact, let's put a pin in it. But yeah, I'm definitely getting her book. She has a ton of free content. Like I said, she has a website as well where you can take her quizzes to find your types, your body matrix, your style roots, as she calls her, like her aesthetic typing system and stuff like that. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. She's kind of has a knack for this type of thing, and well, at least I feel like she has a knack for this type of thing. But let's move on. For the third course I am teaching myself for fall, the course is called Systems of Self-Discovery. And like I said already, I love a system. Because that's just how I think. And it helps me with, through everything. I need a system for everything. For when I go buy at the grocery store, for what I buy to put in my closet, for the makeup, for the way I think and pick books. Like, I need a system for everything to help narrow everything down. My interests are broad. The way I think can be very broad. And I need boundaries. I need self-input boundaries. And one of the systems of self-discovery I am discovering for the fall is astrology. Which I've already been kind of into and kind of, like, read about. But astrology can be very in-depth, and there's so many different types. So many different types of astrology. that it makes my head hurt. So I have chosen to read The Inner Sky by Stephen Forrest, and for other people who are just getting into astrology, they have told me that this has been very helpful for them on how to read their chart, what all of it means, and how to use their chart, because that's what I want to learn. There was a creator, and I can't remember. If I find it, her TikTok, I will link it down below, but she had a free guide on how to create content based on your Mercury sign and based on what house your Mercury is in, and I read that, and I was like, wait, this is brilliant and scary accurate. So I'm like, you know what? How else can I use my chart? Who knows? So I'm definitely diving into that. That is the only book I'm reading for this month. I don't want to overwhelm myself because I already have so much going on. And for the last course, it is Finding Art in Modern Literature. And really, that's just me reading like I've been doing. Books by authors that I love and trying to find new authors, because I have not liked a lot of what has come out. A lot of what I picked up in the past few years. If you don't know, I read 100 books for 2 years in a row, and my reading average was like 3.4, 3.6. It was awful, and I did not like a vast majority of what I read. Even like when I tried to pick similarities in between things I loved before, like I had a really big like sports romance kick, and then I realized like not all sports romances are good. And then I was like, oh, I love fantasy romance, and it's even worse over there. A lot of the books are giving Wattpad derogatory, and I'm sorry if you take offense to that, but the storytelling isn't good, the plot aren't good, and you have to read through a lot of nonsense to get to really well-written, well-thought-out books. So I'm narrowing down what I read in a month, fiction-wise, to get to the good stuff. And I want to continue with the author that already has not let me down. Like, I've read, I don't know, 4 of her books, 4 or 5 of her books this year. And I haven't given anything below like a 3.75. Basically, everything's been like a 4-star and above. And that is Kenny Ryan. I know I'm late. I know I am late. I know that this series just wrapped up this year. Everyone's been reading about it. But I thought that I wasn't into deep books. Like, books that really get you in your feelings, romances like that. So I avoided Kenny Ryan for a very long time. And then I decided in February, like, I'm ready, and read through the whole Hoops trilogy. And then I read one of my favorite reads of the year. Hold up, let me try to pull it out without knocking stuff over, and I'm knocking stuff over anyway. Then I read Real, 5-star. I love this book. And Kenny Ryan has a way of writing about these deeply flawed people, these complex people, falling in love, and they take their tragedies with them, like most of us do, their trauma and their issues, and they take those with them into relationships, and you kind of have to break all that stuff down and sort through it all, and when she puts them together, it is so worth it. I want to read books that are worth it. So I've been told this is worth it. This is a second chance romance between a divorced couple who run, I think they run a restaurant together, and they have kids. This is them finding their way back to each other. I might cry. I hope I do, actually. And the next book I am reading is by an author that I've also heard raved about, but I've never read anything by her, and that is Hannah Bonham Young, and this is Out on a Limb. And why would I not start? Why would I not start her with a book that has 2 disabled people who hook up at a Halloween party and accidentally have a baby together? Why would I not? That sounds emotionally intriguing. And I, as you can see, I've been reading it, and so far it's so good. I still feel like it kind of like is it floats almost still along the surface. I want her to get deep. I want to feel things when I read this. And hopefully I do. And lastly, this one is a short story. And it's actually forwarded by one of my favorite fantasy authors, T. Kingfisher, who I'm also reading a book by her, like on audio. In fact, I'll talk about that next. And it is called The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar. I hope I'm probably butchering that, but I had seen this book on Goodreads? On Goodreads while I was looking through T. Kingfisher's like backlist, and you know how it like recommends you other authors or other books, and this came up on her recommended books. It is a short story about I think it's about a set of twins, and one of them kind of gets kidnapped. I'm pretty sure one of them gets kidnapped. In fact, that's all I know. It's a fantasy, and because it is forwarded by one of my favorite authors, I am hoping that I fall in love with this author. She also writes poetry, I heard. Maybe I'll get into that. I don't know. I'm open. I'm teaching myself things, apparently. That is the goal. And since I brought it up, let's talk about Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. I have been so obsessed with all this lady's books. I think since December of last year, I've maybe read 6 books by her. She has this beautiful way of mixing like fantasy with a good romance supply, but the books are kind of horror and disturbing, and also she's funny. I don't know how she does this, but I'm hooked, and I'm currently reading a book that came out in August that is a Snow White retelling, and loosely, this is loosely a Snow White retelling. It's almost giving like Alice in Wonderland for me. And it is about a healer, loosely a healer. She is a woman who kind of delves into poisons and tries to find remedies for certain poisons because she had seen somebody ingest something they shouldn't have at a very young age, and they died, and it left her with plenty of questions and no answers, and she's been looking for the answers ever since. And she has become so well known at what she does. The king has sought her out to help save his daughter Snow. His daughter Snow is sick. They think it might be poison. They are not sure. So now he has enlisted, I don't remember what her name, the main character's name is, but he has enlisted the FMC's help to help save her daughter. And the FMC is very much interested but terrified, because what happens if you can't save the king's daughter? Like, are you hung? Do they stone you to death? So, but she agrees, and she is taken to the castle and sees Snow, and there is all manners of peculiar things happening in that castle, especially involving mirrors and apples and all types of terrifying things that the main character can't sort out, mainly through science, but she's determined to explore and find out. It's so good. It's so good. It's beautiful. I don't know how T. Kingfisher does it. She is a very great writer, a very good storyteller. And I plan to read more of her stuff. I think she's coming out with more books this year. There's more of her backlist I haven't read. Some of it's horror. I'm a scaredy cat. I might not do that. But that is all I have for you. This video is probably very long, but thank you for watching and listening to my scattered brainness. Bye.